Surprise, motherfucker! Hey, what's up? This is Venger Satanis, and I think I'm titling this video DIY Sandbox D&D Campaign. I thought it would be cool to make just a short video outlining the barest essentials of what makes a halfway decent sandbox campaign. In my campaign, I just mean a series of adventures that are linked together. Nothing special. Not necessarily like a year or more campaign, or not, somewhere between that and a one shot or two shot. So anyway, without further ado, I also put this on my website, on the blog. So look down there for the link in the description below, because I will write all this up. This is what it looks like. This is the way all my notes look, basically written on the back of some half-assed artwork that my kids did. Pretty much everything that I write starts with that, just handwritten notes, and then I type it into a Word doc, and then from there, it gets refined and polished and whatever. Okay, so there's three main outline points, like Roman numeral stuff. Okay, the first one is locations. So A, you need some sort of starting location, like a city or settlement or village, someplace for the characters to start out. And B, you need a handful of smaller locations kind of nearby, like temples, dungeons, tombs, other cities, maybe like a swamp or forest, valley, hills, things like that. And then C, the eventual big bad location. So maybe that's far off, or there's some sort of barrier or something preventing the player characters from going there right away. Maybe they just know from its reputation that it's a forbidding, like, scary place, and they don't want to go there until they're like higher level or more experienced. Okay, outline numeral 2, factions. So A, good guys versus bad guys. That's one way to go. B, shades of gray. There's really no good guys or bad guys. Everybody has their own agendas, just out for themselves, depending on whatever is going on in your campaign. But neither is necessarily like good or evil. And C, factions that are either directly related to the PC's background or their goals. Either way, any of those three are good jumping off point for creating multiple factions. Factions are just realistic, and they also help with grouping concepts and people together. It makes running the game easier, and as a player, I think it helps because you can grok like what people are doing and why, and you have a certain cult or a certain group of people doing things, maybe it was politically motivated or something else, and like, oh, that's that faction. Maybe they wear a certain color, or they have secret language or symbols or something like that, so you can identify them, and you kind of know what they're about, and then you can go in between factions, and a lot of role-playing possibilities there. So factions are always great. All right, Roman numeral 3. What's the deal with your campaign? What is it about? What kind of adventures will the players be getting into? All that kind of stuff. So A, rumors, myths, legends, just general things that the characters would know or that might have been hinted at. Anything from common knowledge to things that they've studied or overheard, or know from a friend of a friend who was an adventurer or explorer, something like that. B, what is the immediate or micro hook? What is the smaller thing that kind of leads them into adventure from the get-go? You need something for the characters to do, some reason for them to be out and maybe adventuring or at a certain location, or just to leave the farm. Like, why? And then C, you should also have a far off long-term goal, a macro hook. And that may be kind of obscure right now and will become clear down the road, or maybe you will hint at it now, or maybe it'll just be like an outright fact, like, the Dark Tower is where all the the people that don't want to be enslaved, or the people that speak out against the government, they're all taken to the Dark Tower and either imprisoned or killed or whatever. So the characters know that eventually this is like their main end goal. But obviously they can't just like walk up to the Dark Tower first level and just like try to fuck shit up. That's not going to work. So they have to do all these other little things first, or maybe they need a certain key or something like that, and then they have to get it in like a tomb or a dungeon or the Wizard's Tower or something like that. And I think that's it. You got locations, factions, and what's the deal. And then I have A, B, and C for each one of those three. And really, you just have that kind of ironed out. And that's like, I don't know, 90-95% of your sandbox campaign. You can run a lot of adventures. You can probably run at least a dozen, maybe 24 adventures on that stuff, and then detailing some of the locations, like the dungeons and a castle or two or whatever. And that's it. I wouldn't go any more than that starting out. Once you get 3 or 4 or 5 sessions in, then you can start building the world out more, start fleshing things out, expand and just do more. But for just starting out, you just want to do it yourself, create your own little sandbox campaign to get your campaign, D&D campaign started and off and running. That's really all you need. Some locations, factions, and an idea of what the campaign is going to be about, what the adventures are going to be about, what the adventurers are kind of supposed to be doing. I mean, you want a lot of leeway for them to branch out on their own and do their own thing, but you also need a world with clearly defined parameters and locations and groups of like-minded people in which to do that in. Okay, that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and give me some feedback. Like this, subscribe, and share it too. Thanks.